Inventory has just surpassed the highest level we've seen since 2019, and before that, all the way back to the 2008 housing crash. So what does that mean for prices right now? Are we going to see prices drop? Are we in a crash right now? You might be surprised what I found in the latest data, so let's get into it. Starting us off with Lee County, you can see right now we have new listings at 720, which is actually a decrease of 1.5% from last week. Solds were at 143, which is a huge decrease, down 34%. And then we have pendings, which is good news. We see buyers starting to enter the market a little bit down here in Lee County, 368, that's up almost 1%. Now we also see on the other side here, median sold price is at 455, which is up 17% from the previous week. Now that's also up quite a bit for the year overall. We do see prices starting to increase a little bit as we're entering into season, and we do see more buyers entering the market and putting offers on properties. It all is going to depend on the property itself, the condition, the location, whether it's in a flood zone, the insurance, all that stuff matters. Active inventory, as I just mentioned, 9,003 active inventory, and that is just for single family homes and condos. That doesn't count townhouses, manufactured homes, all those other types of properties that don't fall under single families or condos. So that is a huge amount, and it's almost up another 2% from last week. And then of course we have the interest rate for the 30-year fixed mortgage at 6.841. That did increase 3 basis points over the last week. Now let's take a look at Naples market, which is a completely different market here. New listings at 256, that's up almost 8% week over week. Solds down to 52, that's almost down 40%. So that's a huge decrease. You can see a lot of buyers are just starting to drop out of the Naples market. Pendings are at 127, so that's up 5%. On top of that, you see the median sold price, $975,000. All right, so this is the graph that I mentioned right in the beginning. We are at levels that we have not seen since going back to 2019. We had 25,000, and we actually surpassed that this month in January. We're at 26,986, almost 27,000 listings. Back here, we were at 24,740. So we've surpassed it by quite a bit. Unfortunately, we can't go back any further than 2015 in this MLS chart. However, I'm guessing the last time we saw inventory levels this high would have been a few years after housing crisis when we saw a lot of inventory still on the market sitting there. Buyers just starting to enter the market again in about 2012, 2013. In other news, we are seeing about 90% of markets saw quarter 4 home price gains, but in the last 5 years alone, median home prices have jumped 50%. So that's where we're seeing this disconnect between buyers and sellers. In addition to that, where are interest rates headed? Well, Powell tells Congress Fed still is in no rush to lower the rates. Now, the Fed doesn't necessarily control mortgage interest rates. However, they do have some say in what goes on in the bond market, the 10-year bond market, which is what mortgage interest rates closely follow. We did see that huge sell-off that I showed you was probably going to come from the Head and Shoulders. It didn't go quite as low as I expected it to. So we do see those headed up again, but this white line here is a 200-day moving average. It's a huge resistance bar. So if we do get back up to those levels, probably over the next week or two, we're probably going to see these levels either stay around the same spot, or if they do increase, they're going to bounce back down lower. Housing sentiment, though, on the other hand, is ticking up a bit. So more buyers are starting to feel a little bit more optimistic, a little bit better about the market. And I think that comes with mortgage rates slowly declining over time. A couple interesting stats here for the home purchase sentiment index highlights 22% said it's a good time to buy right now. 78% obviously said it's a bad time. 63% said it's a good time to sell right now. And then you have 36% said it's a bad time to sell. And then here's where people are as far as the mindset right now. Home price expectations. Where do people see things going? The percentage of respondents saying home prices will go up in the next 12 months actually increased from 38 to 43%. And then vice versa, the percentage who say home prices will go down also decreased from 27 to 22%. So in both cases, we see people feeling like prices are probably going to be going up over the next 12 months. And that is probably likely with interest rates coming down. John Burns Research and Consulting is a high-level consulting firm for housing market research and data. They just put out an article last week, but I just wanted to go over the market cycles. This is just a 1 to 3 year outlook, but we have Orlando and Tampa over here. They're in the plateauing phase, so prices are starting to plateau. After that, you have the slowing phase, which we are seeing in Jacksonville, and then falling phase, which is Austin and San Antonio. Now, I'm going to say Collier and Lee County markets are probably in the slowing to falling phase. We've seen prices coming down slowly. So just to give you an overview, slowing, moderate price appreciation compared to peers, modest sales volume growth, affordability or supply levels becoming alarming, less attractive to capital. We hit most of those. You know, affordability or supply levels becoming alarming. We've been in that for a while. I'd say the last year, the supply levels are becoming alarming. Falling, we have flat or declining prices. So this is why I said we're probably in one of these two phases, because we have been seeing that prices falling. Then in the other story here is, this is coming from Redfin, 17% of homeowners with mortgage rates have an interest rate of at least 6%, which the other side of that coin is 83% of homeowners have a mortgage rate of less than 6%, right? So that's where we're seeing this whole market increase, the inventory increasing so much. But for you buyers out there, if you're waiting to time the market, if you're waiting for a better time to buy in the market, honestly, you're probably going to be waiting a while longer if you're waiting for interest rates to go down, or if you're waiting for prices to come down significantly to the point where it makes sense. Sellers, you guys need to be realistic with your pricing. You got to know your stuff, you got to know your market, and you got to know beyond your neighborhood. Buyers have a lot of options, so you're going to have a very strategic pricing plan for how you're going to compete against other people. Some things that you might want to think about incentive wise, rate buy downs. That would be a huge incentive right now, and it might not cost you all that much, 1 or 2% to buy down somebody else's rate to make it more affordable for somebody to buy your home. Also offering credits back at closing for different things like inspection issues, or even offering to pay closing costs. Things like that are going to make your home more attractive and stand out. And then on the other hand of that, buyers, don't be afraid to ask for those things. Ask for closing cost assistance from the sellers. Ask for rate buy downs. Ask for them to make repairs on their homes. Make an offer that's, maybe not a low ball, but something that's in the wheelhouse. But don't be shy about it. Sellers really have to compete right now, and I think a lot of them are starting to catch up to the idea that they're not going to be selling as quickly as they hoped they would. And they're not going to be selling for as much or have as much leverage as they used to before. So that is kind of what's going on for the market. That we're not really seeing a market that I think most people were anticipating or expecting. It's crucial to really have that strategy in place for either as a buyer or a seller. So if you guys have questions about the market right now, the market conditions, whether you're a buyer or seller, what should you be doing? What should you be looking at? How should you be preparing your home? Feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in one of these corners. It's in this corner right here. You can scan that QR code. It'll give you my digital business card, or you can find the rest of my information in the description below. But I hope this was helpful. I hope to see you in the next video next week. But until then, stay safe, stay positive, and more importantly, stay free.